a 90s kid, Casper movies were a huge part of my home video collection. 1995's Casper, Casper Meets Wendy, and Casper: A Spirited Beginning. The 1995 theatrical movie gets mentioned way more than the TV movie Casper Meets Wendy and the direct-to-video movie A Spirited Beginning, and I watched all three constantly. I haven't seen Casper Meets Wendy and A Spirited Beginning in about 20 years, and I somehow saw that A Spirited Beginning was on YouTube for free, and revisiting it was such a treat. It brought me back to a simpler time when bad movies weren't even a thought in my brain, man. I was a simple boy then, I'm a simple boy now. Let's revisit this gem from 1997. The movie opens fully animated, which is different because it's a live-action movie. I'm just saying Looney Tunes Back in Action did it much better, but moving on. We see Casper on a train, presumably to the afterlife, and he doesn't know that he's a ghost, and he somehow gets thrown off the train. He then ends up in a city called Deedstown, and scares a bunch of citizens and realizes that he's a ghost. Meanwhile, we see a lonely 90s boy named Chris, who's obsessed with ghosts. Very convenient. He is a work-obsessed, cliche 90s dad named Tim, who is trying to demolish a local historic mansion in the center of town to make way for a mini-mall. We then see a group of protesters in front of the mansion, which I dig. Fuck capitalism. The three famous Casper ghosts, Stretch, Fatso, and Stinky, show up and scare everyone off because they inhabit the mansion. Chris sees this and wants to join the ghosts, which is pretty concerning. It then cuts back to all animation, where we see the king ghost, Kibosh, who runs the ghost school where new ghosts are trained to learn how to be a ghost. They realize Casper never showed up, and Kibosh becomes furious and demand they get Casper back. Back in the real world, Chris's teacher, Sheila, who leads the protesters, sees Tim and the mayor on the news talking about the demolition and promises that she will stop it. Casper and Chris finally meet on the street and instantly become friends, and he introduces Casper to the ghostly trio. That way Casper can get trained. The trio then realizes that Casper also skipped the ghost school just like they did in the past, and they want to use Casper to prove themselves to Kibosh so he stops chasing them. One of Kibosh's goons overhears this and runs back to tell him. This plot runs deep, man. Casper learns the skill of stealth mode, but fails at almost every other lesson, which leads the trio to realize that Casper is way too soft to be a real ghost, and they kick him out. Chris offers to teach Casper about being a ghost himself, and Casper manages to succeed using his powers when the local bullies attack Chris. Casper helps little Chris set up dinner for him, and is too busy for his son father, and Kibosh's goon reports to Kibosh that Casper is being a servant to the humans, and Kibosh vows to return Casper himself. Uh-oh. The ghostly trio capture Casper to try and stop him from doing good deeds, which ruins Chris's plans to show his father that Casper is real. Yeah, like that plan would have worked out anyhow. After his dad misses his show and tell, parent-teacher conference, and Casper ditching him, even though he got kidnapped, Chris runs away but gets trapped inside the mansion by the bullies, which is really fucked up. We learn that Tim, the father, hired a professional bomber to take down the mansion since the demolition team refused because of the ghosts. He planted a bomb inside the mansion. You can see the issue here. Meanwhile, Casper escapes, and the trio gets captured by Kibosh. Tim then meets Casper, realizes he's real, and they both set out to find Chris. They manage to find him inside the mansion. Chris gets out, and Casper eats the bomb, which saves the mansion. Kibosh is impressed with Casper, and he tells him that the trio taught him everything he knew. So Kibosh lets the ghost stay and haunt. Tim and Chris make up, the bullies get in trouble, and Casper gets a new name. Casper the Friendly Ghost. Happy ending, man. Checking out the production history, Universal Pictures wanted to make a sequel to the 1995 movie to release in 1999. Now buckle up, this is where it gets a bit confusing. I was a bit confused myself. In 1996, Universal's merchandising rights to Casper expired. And then the company who owned the IP of Casper, Harvey Entertainment, was then allowed to create movies, but they had to be either TV movies movies or direct-to-video movies. They weren't allowed to make one in theaters because Universal still held those rights. Even though Harvey Entertainment owned the rights to the IP, they had a deal with Universal. So then Harvey Entertainment signed a deal with Saban Entertainment to create 2 movies, Casper Meets Wendy, which was a TV movie, and this movie, A Spirited Beginning, which was direct-to-home movie. What the hell? All this nonsense for Casper? Is it that popular? The movies are pretty good. You know, the crazy thing about this movie is the cast. I mean, they have some powerhouses here, which is really shocking. Maybe I'm overhyping it. Playing the father Tim, we have Steve Guttenberg, who's sporting a very handsome beard. He's, of course, known for his roles in Police Academy and 3 Men and a Baby. We also have Aunt Becky herself playing Sheila the teacher, Lori Loughlin. Hopefully she doesn't go through another college scandal, but this was probably normal for her in her post-Full House career in the late 90s, but she's still awesome. Playing the mayor of Deatsville, we have the very legendary, iconic Rodney Dangerfield, the man who gets no respect. What do you mean? I mean, this was probably looked down upon in the late 90s, that he was in a direct-to-video movie. They were probably saying to themselves, wow, his career really fell into the gutter. But looking back now that his legacy is cemented as like one of the greatest comedians in the entire world, seeing him in a Casper movie is just goofy. I don't know, maybe I just hold my comedians to a higher standard, but Rodney Dangerfield fucking rocks, man. Playing the military freak Gary Busey Black Sheep ripoff, we have another guy who played in a movie with Chris Farley, Michael McKeen, and I'm a big fan of his acting. He plays a great bad guy. I know him from Coneheads and Little Nicky, but he has had a great career. We also see a small cameo from Brian Doyle Murray. You know, the guy from Dennis the Menace Strikes Again? Nothing other than that, though. Oh, and I forgot! Voicing Kabosh the Ghost in the animated sections and some of the live-action sections, James Earl Jones, Darth Vader. What? Are you serious? Again, this may have been goofy in his late career. They were probably thinking to themselves, why is he doing direct-to-video movies? You know, it's easy to say that now that his legacy is like cemented, but that is so awesome. Also surprising to see that Pauly Shore is one of the goons. The guy is a goofball. You know, I knew this movie was horribly remembered, thanks to some comments that I've seen online over the years. And I checked out the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I see a 0% on the tomato meter and a 42% on the popcorn meter. And I could see the audience was more forgiving than the critics. But even then, the scores are either 5 stars or 0 stars. It's kind of wild. You know, and you're probably thinking, what are your thoughts on this movie, Joey C? And listen, I had written a whole spiel for this section, but I'm just going to wing it. My thought is, listen, it's a movie for children, direct to video in the late 90s. So you already know that the production value, the acting, and the budget is going to be way lower. You can't look back at it now with a critical lens and think, you know, the acting really isn't that good. And you may be thinking, because some of my friends have said this to me too, just because it's a movie for children doesn't mean we can't critique it. Fuck you. Fuck you, dude. Come on. It's a Casper movie from 1997 that was direct to video. Of course it's horrible. It's terrible. It's the fucking terrible movie ever. The CGI is awful. The acting is absolutely terrible. And the budget is so low I could fucking throw peanuts at it. I don't even know what that means. But here's the thing. I have great nostalgia for this movie. And you're probably thinking, Joey C, you're blinded by nostalgia. Of course I am. What do you mean, dude? If you grew up with this movie, you'd probably feel the same way. It's like Zelda Ocarina of Time. Is that movie looking back now, or that's a video game, I'm sorry. If you played that video game right now and you never played it in the 90s, you'd probably say, it's kind of janky in some parts. But no, everybody watching this is going to be like, that's the greatest fucking game of all time. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 is another great example. For God's sakes, I'm sweating. These are my thoughts. I love the movie. It's fun. I loved it as a kid. I enjoyed it now. And the big reason I enjoyed it is the nostalgia. It brought me back to a simpler time, man. It made me realize things like, oh, I remember that scene, and that's where I saw that scene from. Or like a particular joke, if you will. The movie has a vibe, a feeling that it invokes deep inside me that I just really feel. It's like a warm, fuzzy, familiar feeling. And that's what I want in life. Man, goddamn, wish a partner would make me feel like that. Holy shit. Folks, thank you for watching this wonderful revisiting episode of Casper, A Spirited Beginning. I greatly appreciate that. What movie do you have from your childhood that you don't see a lot of content on? Let me know. Maybe I'll cover it. Join my Discord. You can follow me over on twitch.tv/officialjoeyc. We do a lot of live streams there. If you want to support the channel, you can go to patreon.com/officialjoeyc for all your exclusive Joey C needs. We have a lot of content. Thank you to all my channel supporters and Patreon supporters. If you don't want to go to Patreon, you can become a YouTube channel member for the same perks of Patreon. You'll still get your name up there. Folks, thank you for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Keep your eye out for the next video, episode, movie, live stream, whatever it is, man. Cherish the precious moments. Be loved. And stay, dude. I'm out of here. Turn the green screen off. We got to cut this recording immediately. And I'll tell you why. How many words is that? One word or two words. Air conditioning. I turned it off to record it because the audio comes through the mic and not the camera. All right, now I'm getting blurry. Oh, I'm getting really blurry. I'm getting real close to you now. All right, I'm going to leave. See you later. Goodbye.